Hey everyone, let's make a decal material. Right click and make a new material. I'm calling mine Mystic Paper Mat. In the material, hold T and click to create a new texture sample. Let's find a texture that has some transparency to it. I've got this paper texture, and I'm going to link up its RGB to our base color output, and the results look kind of weird. The material node has an opacity output pin, but it's currently disabled. If I select the material, I can change its blending mode to be translucent. I'm going to grab my texture's alpha channel and map it into the opacity output, and that looks pretty good. Here's another texture that when mapped out, it looks like it's completely white, but if we map the alpha channel, then we can see that it actually has some transparency as well. We're going to combine these. Now, we could simply add them together with the add node, and this looks okay, but it's not really glowing. So let's grab our one texture and map its alpha to our emissive output. And now our material is actually glowing a little bit. So if this texture were to be in a dark place, it would be self-illuminated even in the dark. To add some color to this, hold M and click to add a multiply node. Hold 3 and click to add a constant 3 vector node. Let's choose a color that we like and then multiply our alpha by that color. Now it's glowing in the right color, but it's not really bright enough. So let's take this result and multiply it by 10 so that it glows even brighter. That's looking great. Now the meow is just a little too big, so I'm going to change its size by changing its UV coordinates. Hold U and click to add a texture coordinate node and connect it with this input pin on our texture sample. You can scale up or down the texture by specifying how many times it should repeat. The size is looking a lot better, but I actually don't want to see the word meow 4 times. So let's go navigate to this texture and double click on it to open the texture editor. And in here we're going to find these hidden properties, and instead of telling it to wrap our UVs, we're going to tell it to clamp the UVs so that they're always in that 0 to 1 space. Save the texture and let's go back to our material. If we click on something and then click save, it will refresh our material, and now we can see that this texture is not tiling anymore. So we're going to add an offset to our UVs, so hold A and click to add an add node, and we're going to wire it up to our texture coordinates, and then drag over a constant 2 vector, or hold 2 and click to create one. Try plugging some values into this and see how it offsets the texture. I mess around with it for a little bit, and then I find that -0.5, -0.5 puts the texture right in the center of the paper. Now I want to be able to use this material as a decal, so select the material and change its material domain to be a deferred decal. Now in our editor we can drag the material into the scene and it creates a new decal actor. You can also find a decal actor in the placement mode and just drag it in from over there. Notice that this kind of creates a projector, and if we move this actor around or rotate it or scale it, we can change how this projection works. You'll notice that if you move it into shadow, the emissive channel appears, but the color doesn't appear. And if you had other maps like a normal map, that wouldn't appear either. We actually have to go in and change how the engine's rendering pipeline works. So go to your project settings, and on the left, find the category called rendering. We're going to find a property called debuffer decals and turn that on. And then down in the optimization section, we're going to set our early Z-pass to be opaque and masked meshes. And we're also going to turn on mask material only in early Z-pass. Now save your changes and restart the engine. This took me half an hour to restart the project, so I sped it up here. Once the project's finally loaded, you can see that it's still not working. So what we have to do is open up our material again, click on the material node, and set the decal blend mode to one of these debuffer settings. Save the decal and then go back to your level, and it should be working even in the shadows. I hope this introduction to decals was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.